What's up, team? So, I recently listened to The Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. For this video's sake, I'll be calling him Don. But I do know that we have to have a healthy mind and a healthy perspective to have a healthy life. These four agreements will help us transform our life. And this is the Wellness and Such channel. My name is Joey. Please hit that subscribe button for me, because I'm here to empower you to live healthier and happier. So we all have these agreements made up in our mind. These agreements are passed down to us, given to us by society, or based on things that happened to us in our past. And we hold on to these. These cause fears, limiting beliefs. We stop being ourselves because of other people's beliefs and other people's opinions. Don says this leads us to have two parts of our mind, one called the judge and one called the victim, because we start judging ourselves for every little thing. And this leads us to judge everybody else because we judge ourselves so hard. I'm not good enough. Look at all these mistakes that I made in my past. Or the victim who says, like, look what's happened to me. There's no way that I can be successful based on my past. Look where I've came from. I got injured. So now I have to be a failure. The judge and the victim. Now we've had these past beliefs for a long time, these past behaviors, these past habits. You must take courage and have a strong will to destroy these beliefs and these behaviors. It starts with changing your agreements. And when you develop these four agreements, your whole life will change. You'll become the person you want to be. You'll stop living in hell, like Don says, and you'll start living the dream in heaven today, right now. The first agreement, be impeccable with your word. We have to speak with good intention because words are powerful. It is the creative force that develops how you feel, what you think, what you believe, who you are. Your words create the reality of your life. You can be sucked into the darkness with negative, or you can be brought to light with the positive. Don says it's like a two-sided sword. On one end it can be pure magic, on the other end it can be black magic. Because your words can cast spells on other people, they can cast spells on yourself, or they can release people from spells. They can empower people. They can bring people up. He goes on and talks about this mother and daughter. This mother is exhausted. She gets home from work, tired with a headache, she's starving. She sits on the couch and her daughter is just joyfully playing, having a great time, and she's singing with this beautiful voice. Now to her mom with this headache, any sound is going to bother her more and more and more. And she sits there as her daughter's playing. Next thing you know, she can't take it anymore. All this noise is just frustrating her and she can't think straight. So she yells, "Hey Emily, shut up. Your voice is terrible." She just cast a spell on her daughter without even realizing it, because she didn't think about the words that were coming out of her mouth. Maybe if she would have thought for a second, "Hey, I got a headache, I'm exhausted. Can you maybe go to your room and do that?" So now the daughter became shy and never sang again. Her mom didn't know she was doing this to her daughter. She didn't know that this was black magic. The people we love can cast spells on us, but we can't take it personally. So the first agreement, being impeccable with our words. We must first change how we feel by using positive words. When we look at ourselves in the mirror, start saying positive affirmations, empowering ourselves, speaking to ourselves with respect. And this will in turn go off to other people. You will start talking to other people with respect. You will start being compassionate. You will start lifting other people up because you respect yourself, because you're emotionally cleansed. You eliminated this poison, and now you're immune from all the other people casting spells on you. It won't affect you anymore because you know who you are. Because you're this amazing person. You tell yourself it every day. You listen to God's voice. You know you are blessed. Now this leads me to the second agreement. Don't take things personally. We can't take other people saying that we're ugly, saying that we can't sing, that our voice is terrible. We can't take these things personally because we don't know what that person's going through. They could have just had the worst day of their life. They might have got fired from their job. Their parent might have just passed away, or a loved one. We don't know what anyone's going through, so we can't take their darkness personally. When people say nasty things, when people do nasty things, they're really just casting a spell on themselves. They are projecting themselves onto the other person, what they believe, their thoughts about the world. This is a mirror. That's why when you do good, when you're impeccable with your words, God will cast upon you great things. We can't take what other people say about us as fact, because what they say about us, it's really truly about them. They have something going on. There's no reason for us to think about it more than that. Say God bless you and move forward. 75% of your suffering comes from these first two agreements. That's what Don says. I'm just passing it along. And whether something is positive or negative, we don't have to take either of them personal because we know who we are. If they say you're amazing, you already know that. Thank you. If they say you suck, you're ugly, you're whack, you're stupid, it's all good, bro. Now you think it's going to be easy to do this, to hold these agreements 24/7? No, it's not going to be. It's going to be a challenge. There will be new obstacles for you to face. These new obstacles to hold this agreement. But just remember, when you start taking things personally, even if it comes from yourself, some ideas just don't originate from you. They come from other things, other ideas, other places, the TV. So you don't have to take anything too personally. Don says, the whole world can gossip about you. And if you don't take it personally, you'll be okay. The third agreement, don't make assumptions. We start making assumptions about what people think about us, what they're going to do, what they're going to say. And then when things don't happen the way we expect them to happen, we start complaining about it. We create drama in our life. And now we're not impeccable with our word because we start gossiping about these people. Because it stirs up emotional poison in us. If you notice, all these agreements kind of tie into each other. But we can't just assume that everybody knows what we're thinking, what we want, even if it's our loved one, the person we're in a relationship with. We can't just expect them or assume that they're going to do something for us if we haven't communicated that that's something that we need. We have to learn communication. If you're running a business, you can't just assume that your employee knows what you want, that they know that you want the place to look like this or you want things to be done this way. You also can't assume that your boss should give you the promotion. Don says it takes courage to ask the right questions so that we can stop assuming, so that we can figure out the truth. He says we need this clear communication so that we no longer need to assume and make assumptions, so that we can avoid this emotional poison and this suffering that we create in our life by making assumptions and expecting things from people or from ourselves. There's all sorts of assumptions that we can make. The fear of being ourselves because we just assume that people are going to reject us. We just assume that people are going to judge us. We assume that people don't think the way we think, don't have the same experiences as us. So then we hold things in. We don't communicate how we feel. Because we expect to be rejected. We assume this. But holding these things in and suppressing our emotions, more emotional poison. When we emotionally clean these things, we can live the life that we want. We can dominate these habits that we have. We can become healthy in mind, body, and spirit. So the fourth agreement, always do your best. Now your best will change over time. When you start, your best won't be very good. But by the time you finish, your best will be a masterpiece. Some days you'll be sick, some days you'll be tired. Some days will be great days, you'll be fully energized. But it doesn't matter. If you live by these other three agreements, it'll help you do your best. Because your mind won't be clouded. You won't be offended by what other people do. You won't be judging yourself all the time. And we have to honor ourselves by taking action. When we take action, we're expressing ourselves. We're being who we truly are. That's where the fulfillment is. By being ourselves. By doing what we love. By facing our fears. By conquering these limiting beliefs. And just enjoying life. So Don also talks about the Toltec's path to freedom. The path to freedom is by freeing our mind from all the parasites that we have. The parasites start growing multiple heads. That's the fears that we have, the limiting beliefs. And we must attack each parasite one by one until we eliminate them. And there's several ways to kill these parasites, to free our mind. The first way, attack your fears. The second way, stop feeding the parasites. We can't let these things that go on in our mind, these limiting beliefs, these fears, control our emotions. So every time we think about it, it stirs up all this emotion inside of us. And then now we're not impeccable with our word. We're complaining. We're making all these assumptions about life. We're taking things personally. So we must gain control of our emotions so that when these fears pop up, these parasites pop into our minds, we don't let them control our emotions. And eventually they'll just die off because they have nothing to eat off of. There's nothing fueling them anymore. The Toltec's path to freedom is the art of transformation. He says we must go into the desert and battle our demons. And these demons will eventually turn into our angels. These demons become our story. We now have something to share. We now have experiences to help other people. These demons become our angels that empower us to be healthier, to be happier, to live a better life. So you remember the little girl who decided not to sing anymore from the story before? When she turned 20 years old, she said, I want to break this agreement. It's time I free my mind from these parasites. So what did she do? She chose to face her fears. She said, I'm going to sing anyways. She sang once. Now she didn't completely remove the fear, but she built a little momentum. And then she sang again and again and again until she had so much momentum that this fear is no longer there. And when she first started, she was visualizing people clapping for her, telling her that her voice was beautiful, telling her that she could sing. This was removing that spell. This was removing those limiting beliefs, those fears, so that she could get out there and use her gift. Now this can be you. Remember, this is just the art of transformation. It's about changing our agreements. Using these 4 agreements to change your life. Be impeccable with your word. Don't take things personally. Don't make assumptions. And always do your best. Remember, I'm just here to ignite your passion. Be you and be different. Peace and one love. Always. Hit that like button.